Hi, folks. Back August of 2015, I was tired of where I was at in life. I was tired of where I was at in the job I had. That was really the straw that came together to break the camel's back, so to speak. I had taken and had to have a conversation with myself what I want to do, and part of that was to find a new career path, find something that I wanted to do, something that interacted well with my hobbies, who I am, my desires as a person. Fortunately for me, when I was in the Army, I had gone places all over the planet, all over, just various countries, various different types of situations. And I enjoyed most of those. Loved being in Europe. Korea was fun. Some of the other places I was at, not so fun. But through the blessings that I've been gifted in life, I did have the opportunity to live here in the Vicksburg, Mississippi area when I worked in casinos. I kind of wanted to get back this way. I'd say, you know, Oregon blood, Southern heart. Just the people down here is great. I like the weather. I love the smell of magnolias. The history, various different battlefields and the sites. Just there's an attraction down here. So all that comes together, comes to a head, and I decide that hey, I'm going to go out and drive a truck. Now I was walking to the store to buy a pack of cigarettes because I'd stopped smoking a few years back. Again, the frustration of all this was coming to a head. I kind of sit there and I'm watching the highway travel past and all the trucks going for I-5 there. And I decide, yeah, I can do that. I get out there and it kind of sank with me, but I'd kind of calmed down at that point and went back, had my head straight, and, you know, took care of business. But it still nagging me. The work situation was still getting frustrating, you know. And probably a week or so later, had that conversation. You can do that. It just kind of be like an FTX. I believe in you take something new and you apply it to what you know. Is there a direct correlation all the time? Probably not. But that's how you become successful. Stop a good friend of mine 43 years ago, thereabouts, give or take, 40, one, somewhere in that time frame. We were just little kids. Oh, he's going to go out and drive. Well, we're going to go out and drive trucks. You had BJ and the Bear was going wild. Convoy was going wild. Uh, he did have a couple uncles that were into the truck driving thing, so that was kind of. And then as kids, while we talked about it, we're going to do it. I never did. The only time I ever drove, any truck thing was deuce and a half, 5 tons, that type of stuff. But after he got out of the army, he successfully driving for some 20 odd years now. So I talked with him about it. And I'd been talking with him off and on. When you're out there, how do you handle this situation? How does that situation? So, just, how you generally do with your friends, you ask them about their work and such. So I had a familiarity with it, and I use that term loosely because by no way am I an expert. It was ready to do anything, but there's just expressing some general questions. And then one day, all that frustration comes to a head. So I talked to him and say, look, this is what I'm thinking about doing. This is my plan. Again, kind of go biblical here. I'm seeking the counsel of wise people. And, obviously, he's interested. That's what he does for a living. He had a local route there. And, he was like, yeah, you can, and he talked as a friend should do. Yeah, he spent about 5 minutes talking about the great aspects of it. Then he spent, talking about, look, this is what could happen. This is what will happen. This is what's going to happen yada yada yada, the quote unquote negative side of things. Uh, and I listened, and then I want a second opinion, I want a third opinion, I want a fourth opinion, I want a fifth opinion. So obviously, I did the natural thing. I went to the YouTube, and everybody and their brother with a camera, myself included, as you can see, is making a YouTube video on, quote unquote trucking. Going to stop right there. Not a fan of those kinds of words. That's like calling, someone named Jeffrey, what are you, 2 years old? You're a transportation driver, is it presumptuous to think, you know, or use lofty words and titles? Well, think like a professional, be a professional. You know, that's where the money comes from. You know, what's the difference between a janitor and a civic engineer? You know, right? Words do have power. Words do have meaning. So anyway, let's go back to this. And as you wade through a lot of the YouTube folks, you will find there's some great ones out there, and there's some that are just little less than great. I don't like put none of these people that I'm about to mention have I ever spoken with or talked to, but these are some of the people that, and in no particular order, that I was impressed with their video because of how they put out their content. Okay, no stumbling, no bumbling, not a bunch of ooming and ahhing and extra noise. Mark State was a great presentation, kind of task condition standards down his, and a gentleman by the name of Scooby Doo, another individual that puts out some great quality information videos, as well as Freddie, and I forget his last name, but it used to be with KLM, Trekker 717. Entertaining videos on all of his. He had a little bit of nonsense on his intro at fun, but at the start of his videos, and those are kind of fun to watch. But those are the three people that whose videos kind of I tend to gravitate more when I want to learn something and not be as entertained. And then there's obviously some people that I just don't watch their videos. And I'm not starting any nonsense. That is not my intent. I'm just trying to tell you who influenced me and how I got there. Some of the things, and I'm going to quote directly from Mark State, and I like that, and it has power. Change your location, change your vocation. So sometimes you need to do that. That was in one of his videos. I am now at the place I want to be. I go to orientation on Monday. Now, again, as stated, this all began back in last August of 2015. It's now 26. It's now June 2016. Uh, Briefly on how I got there. I developed a plan. Okay, I called, and again, being out of Oregon, I called one outfit and the trucking school, and they had a pay it outright. They had a finance option, and they had a couple other things. Well, what had happened was I tried to secure an outside loan. That did not work out for me, which is fine. I qualified for their in-house loan, but interest rate was way up there, and I had the $2,000 down payment, and then they're like, well, this other and they didn't mention the name, but some other company will also finance me $2,000, but I have to go to them for a year, and then I end up paying, the company back about 3,000. It's going to be about $7,000 off of a 5,000 deal, and it was just kind of one of those goofy things. It didn't make a lot of sense. The numbers didn't pencil out. The interest rate wasn't there. So no, pass. Thank you. Um, and I found out in about 2 weeks, time it was looking, going to my credit union and looking and talking with the school, because at the time, see, I wanted to be out there, I wanted to be driving, I wanted to be in school, and that was the uh, anger or the frustration from my previous situation. I'm glad that did not work out for me. I also thought about going to uh, various schools, various trucking companies, schools. And then I was thinking, well, that's kind of an enslavement idea. Yes, and I'm not, again, slinging mud on those, but I go work for them and then, or go to their school. They pay me whatever, and I'm just going to grab a number out, 18 to 22 cents a mile for a year and a half, for the contract, and I could be sitting or not sitting, and then again, more frustration comes, more frustration happens, and I'm beholding to, or I'm in, to that various company, and in that whole indentured servitude aspect was not appealing to me. So that left the only other logical um, option left, and that was to save up. Okay, and that's kind of where I want to bring us up to speed at now. is that I had a plan. I sat down and wrote a plan. I grabbed the belt, you know, tightened it up, and I figured what was my bare minimum that I could save. All right, and how can I double it? I had to double it because time. I didn't want to be doing, dragging around for 2, 3 years trying to save up $5,000 to go to school, and that was all DMPs included. So I sat down and I fixed my hard costs. How much is my phone bill? What was my car payment at the time? What's my rent? How much am I going to use on food? Need a little bit of entertainment money out there. Okay, got to have some fun throughout life, otherwise nothing happens. Okay, and then I figured how much I can save per month. And for me, what I was doing, and with some belt tightening, okay, was I took and I was able to save anywhere from $500 to $700 a month. Okay, so in quick order, I was able to then finance myself to go to school, pay it outright, not holding to anybody. And then also had tax time hit in there, so the money I got back on taxes, I was able to put into that fund. Got a couple small little bonuses from like overtime or flat out bonuses. That money would go into the fund because it's going to take a month of school. Then I have to have about a month to get hired on. I had assumed, and I kind of planned out and looked out and did my research how long different things are going to take. And I was within a month of being hired, actually. I kind of had a target date set up when I was setting this up again, August, September timeframe now of last year. And I hit that target date, but for the grace of God. There's, that wasn't any great skill on myself. I didn't have any crystal ball that I was reading into. Uh, but it worked out for me. Things happened, things went down ducks in a row. I took and got to where I wanted to be. Hard work and dedication. And that's what this lifestyle, that's what this career choice is all about. And that sets you up for things. Not even going to talk possible monies right now because I don't know. Okay. And so anything in I would say would be parroting something that somebody else had mentioned or something from somebody else's video, and I don't like doing that unless I have the actual information in front of me or have experienced it myself. And again, I haven't even had day one of orientation, so what do I know? So all I'm going to do in the next couple of videos is try and tell you how I got to where I'm at now. And this is more or less an introduction about me, not to be, conceited or like I'm, again, somebody special, but why do you want to continue watching my videos? So, name's Dorsey, and I hope to see you guys around. And I want to thank you for clicking on the video and following me along this path that I'm walking. Thank you. Till next time.